got kicked out of there. Went to the XFL, I don't know if you guys remember that. XFL, Wild League. Got hurt there. Shouldn't have been there in the first place. Again, not real talented, but a hard worker. Ended up finishing my career in the Arena Football League for 5 seasons. Towards the end of my career, here's what would happen. And I can particularly think of this in probably my 4th year in Carolina. It would be 3rd down. They'd call my number. I was a receiver at this time. I'd score like some big touchdown. And instead of this feeling of, yeah, like, cool, like, this is awesome, and this feeling like, now people think I'm really cool, and, all this stuff, and my teammates think I'm cool, it went to, I'd score, and I'd look in the stands and go, I wonder where they're spending eternity. This was a God-given burden for lost souls that He gave me. Now, I would like to tell you that I just said that burden and that burden alone got me out of football. I'm a little hard-headed, so God had to make me have a little more injury and closed doors and that kind of stuff. But that, coupled with that burden, began this quest to share God's truth. As I come to Omaha, as Paul rolls into Athens, as I come to Omaha, I see the same thing. Now, back in their day, there were idols. They were like little mini gods that they would actually fashion from gold, from silver, from all these little things. Our idols, as I roll into Omaha, they look a little different. They got tires on them. They got a little bling bling on them. They have, roofs on them, and they have 3- and 4-car garages on them at times. They're some with a flag that says NU football in their yard. Several different idols that we could go on today in Omaha, Nebraska. Today. Now, nothing wrong with houses, nothing wrong with cars, nothing wrong with Nebraska football, nothing wrong with youth sports. When we get them out of order in our life, when God becomes number 2 and house becomes number 1, when God becomes number 2 and youth football becomes number 1, we are out of order and we are in idolatry, church. I'll give you an example. Last week, my boys are on a flag football team. The game starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. Now here I have a choice. Now, really, I don't have a choice. I'm the pastor. But I still do have a choice, even if I'm not the pastor. I can say, you know what? Let's go, man. It's all good. I still love God. It's all cool. But let me just give you just a challenge real quick. Here's what I'm telling just my kids. Just my kids right now. Church is cool. God's really cool and stuff. But, you got a game. Let's go to the game. When the kid is raised in this, and that message is being presented, and he's 22, and he's at college, and you're calling him, and you're going, you haven't found a church yet? You don't go to church? You don't go to church at all? Oh my goodness! Listen, church, don't be surprised when that happens, because you started it right here. Because I started it right here. Crucial. This is idolatry. And this is a hard message for me to teach. I want to go, hey guys, it's all good. Listen, I have idols in my life that need to be removed. God has a burden for the lost that are caught in idolatry. It is great for us every now and again to take a serious inventory of where we're at as a Christian. Let me reiterate the godly, the biblical priority list. Number 1 is God. Number 1 is God. Number 1 is God. Intimate time in His Word. Love relationship with Him. That's number 1. What's number 2, church? Spouse. Thank you. I didn't hear family. I heard spouse. I love that. When we get God and then family, and maybe it's kids, and then spouse becomes 3, you have a mess. It's God, it's spouse. Then what is it? Kids, family, right? Then what? Job. There you go, work. Then it's your job. What's after that? Ministry, hobbies. When we are aligned with this, again, please hear my heart. I love football. If you don't know that, come to my crib. You'll find out. I love it. I love when God blesses me with a great home so I can, bless my family and bring people in and have Bible studies and minister to people. I love it. Please hear my heart. Here's the problem, and you can ask yourself these couple questions. Number one, these things in life, do you own them or do they own you? Great question to ask. Are you preoccupied by these things? Are you distracted and your intimacy level with Jesus is replaced by distraction of the things of this world? Listen, I'm not sharing this with you to beat you up. I'm sharing this with you for your best. For God's best for your life. Idolatry. So Paul walks into this place and goes, man, I have a burden for the lost. God brings me to Omaha. I have a burden for the lost. And for the believer that's caught in idolatry. I have a heart for that. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect, but together we can use by God, and it starts with a burden. Number two, let the Spirit lead when you share the truth. Let the Spirit lead. What do I mean by that? Let's look here, back in our text, Acts 17, now picking it up in verse 17. Check this out. Therefore, he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and with the Gentile worshippers, and in the marketplace daily with those who happened to be there. Then certain Epicurean and Stoic philosophers encountered him, and some said, what does this babbler want to say? I love that. Others said, well, he seems to be a proclaimer of foreign gods, because he preached to them Jesus and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him to the Areopagus, or Starbucks, or a college campus, or whatever, saying, may we know what this new doctrine is of which you speak? For you're bringing some strange things to our ears. Therefore, we want to know what these things mean. For all the Athenians and the foreigners who were there spent their time, check this out, in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. Pause right there. Let God open the doors, man. In verse 17 it says that he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews, the Gentiles, and then those who happened to be there. I love that. This word reasoned in the Greek is where we get our word dialogue. It's dialogomai. And it basically means to discuss or to converse. And there's a form of evangelism out there. It's called Socratic evangelism. And what it is basically engaging in dialogue with someone who doesn't know Jesus. I love it. That's what Paul's doing right here. He's going to the synagogue. He's out buying some fruit and vegetables, and whoever's there, he's hanging out with them. He strikes up this conversation. It's almost like there's a group of people that he just starts mingling with. It's his sphere of influence, if you will, as the Lord's leading him. To give you an example. One of the sphere of influences I have in my life is at the gym. I enjoy working out. It's just part of something that I like doing. So oftentimes after a workout, I'll bring my Bible, I'll go into the cafe, rock out a protein drink, and just study the Word for a while. Now, it's amazing as I pray, God, just bring people up into the mix. Open up doors. That I'm reading, and it's just a steady influx. The Bible's like a magnet. It's like people just, is that a Bible over there? Hey, what are you reading there? And next thing you know, there's this great open door, those who happen to be there. Let me ask you this question. Is there someone in your life right now, Christian I'm talking to, that you just happen to be running into lately? You see him at the store. You see him at the gas station. Listen, there needs to be like a little radar going off in your brain. Open door, open door, open door. The Spirit, as you pray, He'll lead you and guide you into connecting with others. Allow God to continue to move you forward in your conversation with them as you share the truth. Now, verse 18 talks about these Epicurean and Stoic philosophers. Let me just give you a little brief background.